come here. He told me that my job would be to take care of the well-being of everyone here. I am merely discharging my duties.
But if you mean what you just said, then isn't Linny someone you should be looking after as well? Isn't he a resident here just like the—
But I really am just doing what Monsieur Nervillette told me to do. And His Grace knows it too, right?
My dear Sijuin, whatever shall I do with you? Would it have killed you to just wait another minute or two?
Well, it's nearly time after all. The way you do things can be truly frustrating sometimes, Your Grace. I figured I should try to talk some sense into you.
What are you talking about?
Take me if you want.
How touching. Can you just give me one more minute?
Don't be like that, Your...
All right, everyone, calm down. 2 more visitors will be arriving any time now. I'll go get a cup of tea. Miss Sijuin, I leave Miss Lynette in your care.
You.
I believe I hear footsteps.
Oh, I wonder who this is.
Some
Clorinde.
space, please.
Ah, Miss Clorinde. My door.
Oh, that is Fremine.
Lemonade.
What's going on? What is Clorinde doing here?
Work.
Work, okay.
Sorry about shooting you, Mr. Linney. The tranquilizing effect will begin to wear off.
What happened to Fremine? Wasn't he diving just outside of the fortress? Why is he looking like...
What is it?
A flushed face, an accelerated pulse. He must have consumed primordial seawater. Please, make some space. I'll need to give Mr. Fremine...
I'll talk to Clorinde while you get Fremine to where he needs to be.
This is getting more and more interesting.
How is he?
These symptoms are probably caused by an acute ingestion of a large amount of primordial seawater. Of course, it would be best if he stayed for further observation. Let's leave him here for now, and move him to the infirmary once he's recovered a bit more. Sorry. I am aware that the infirmary may not be your favorite place in the world at the moment. We do only have a single clinic in the fortress, however.
Why would he ingest a large amount of primordial seawater after leaving the fortress?
Please, look after Mr. Fremine for the moment. I'll go fetch some medicine and a respirator. Oh, I'll bring Miss Lynette back with me.
Where is she?
Oh, she just took a nap in an empty room after I tranquilized her. If my calculations are correct, she should also be waking up right around now. You might not believe me, but his...
Interesting.
What's that look on your face? I thought I made good time on the way back.
Oh, I'm just admiring your punctuality. Had you arrived just a few minutes later, Sijuin may have been forced to shoot Mr. Linney again. How's the situation out there?
The water has changed. It's pretty much as expected. The concentration of primordial seawater has increased significantly. I was only out there a short time, so it wasn't too bad. But if one were to stay for any significant amount of time...
Where was he when you found him?
The abandoned zone at the end of the pipes. A good distance into the water.
Closer than I thought. He must have recognized it early on and tried desperately to swim back.
Locking the door was necessary.
Well, I did try to convince him that I had my reasons. Never seems to work, though.
It would probably work on Nervillette. He has a knack for picking out who had good intentions, even when the outcomes were all terrible.
It's a bad sign if you're having to plead your case to Nervillette. Want some tea?
Not particularly. If you want to drink some that badly, just say so.
Fine, I'd like to get some tea. Want me to get you a cup too, since I've already made it?
Might as well then, I suppose. Actually, do you have a towel? I would like to dry my hair.
Linny, are you okay?
I'll be fine.
Are you sure?
My hands and feet are still a bit weak, but...
I'm back, everyone.
Lenny! Fremine?
He'll be fine. But for now, please help me lift him up.
You good, bud? You good?
His breathing's beginning to slow down.
Give me a hand and help me get him to the infirmary.
Yeah, I'll take him from this side.
On it. Traveler, you seem pretty worried about him.
The Duke and Clarande are gone.
They probably went to get some tea. The Duke will explain the truth in just a bit. Miss Clarande will need a break, since she only just returned from rescuing Fremine out of the sea.
Interesting, interesting, interesting. This is getting more and more complicated, holy. This is turning out to be, by far, the most interesting and complex, like, thing to date. Like, every single other, Archon quest has been decently straightforward. The Sumeru one got a little confusing at times, but otherwise it was still pretty much straightforward for the most part. It's just here is where it gets really confusing, because there's no massive plan already made by characters, like when we had the break in between the 3.1 and 3.2 story quests. But in this case, it's just clashes constantly between parties. It's not like some single thing that was decided from the start. Of course, there were a few little jumps around in the Sumeru one, like having to destroy Ruka Devada's entire existence. But this one is just constant whiplash.
He's awake.
We're all here.
Where am I?
The infirmary, at the Fortress of Meripede, Mr. Fremine. And you are no longer in any danger.
How do you feel?
Traveler, Paimon, it's been so long. The sea. There's something wrong with the seawater.
Shh, it's okay.
No, listen to me. This is really serious. There's primordial seawater mixed into the regular seawater. I don't know why it's there, but no one should touch it. Pipes. Right, the pipes. It's all coming back to me now.
Okay, let's see. Can I play it from his perspective? Do I play it from his perspective? Oh, I do.
I'm in. Seems like this pipe hasn't been used in a long time. It looks abandoned. Where could Master Child be?
Yeah, and I get to play as him. What weapon? Royal Greatsword. Interesting. Noblesse, of course. Oh, I guess it does still help him. I can't climb, right? Yeah, okay, this is definitely
This
a different area.
looks like it's been tampered with. Could he have done it?
Oh, I see. Pretty simple puzzle. Of course, you can still climb up specific places, but most places you're not allowed to climb inside of a domain. This just does this, which brings us up here. Now I just need to rotate it. How? Oh, there's the thing over here.
It's getting stuck on something. Seems like I'll have to avoid those obstacles while I turn it.
I'll move it twice, and then I'll just bring it back up. Alright, move it once, actually. It's only moving once, actually. I'm surprised. I thought I'd have to do multiple times.
This is where the water starts. Master Child probably dived into the water. I'll go take a look as well.
The thing is that it's not dangerous for Child to swim in the water. Unlike it is for us. Or unlike it is for Fremine and them. Because these people are from Fontaine. Child is not. So he can't be dissolved by primordial seawater.
The vegetation here is a bit more sparse. These traces aren't natural. A person must have left them, and recently. Oh, there are traces here too. I need to keep going. Huh? The traces are gone. But I don't see where he could have gone from here. Wait. What? My heart is racing, and it's getting harder and harder to breathe. What's going on?
He realized that it's...
No good. I have to get back. They still don't know anything about what's going on. If I turn back right now, I should still be able to make it.
But he doesn't.
I can't die here. This, I have to push on.
And there's Claran. Hmm.
So, in other words, the trail you were following vanished, and you had no idea where Master Child could have gone. But there was also no obvious place for him to have disappeared to.
That's right. I tried my best to swim back, but I had already put some distance between myself and the fortress, and I just couldn't find the strength to keep going. I probably passed out some time after that, and you know the rest.
Miss Clarande brought you back, but we also don't know why she just suddenly appeared at the fortress, or why she went out to save you.
Miss Clarande, you say?
You're still too weak for Monet. You can go after you've had some more rest. Miss Lynette is right. I believe Miss Clarande will stay here as a guest for another few days, so there's no need to hurry.
A guest? Then I can assume Risley was the one who invited her to come down here?
You should ask His Grace about that. He'll be able to explain better than me.
Yeah, it's about time he actually told us what's going on. What?
No. Please go on without me. I don't want to leave just yet.
You're not with Lynette and Fremine still here.
The logical part of my brain is aware that we're safe right now, but I still can't bring myself to leave.
Understood. Then let's just sit together for a while. In that case, I'll leave the infirmary to you. The Traveler and I are going to head out for now. As long as you stay in here, I don't think you'll be disturbed.
Thank you.
Interesting. This has been a really, really interesting quest so far. Like, incredibly. Now I actually get to go up and see his office. There they are.
Excuse me.
I take it Mr. Fremonet's condition has stabilized?
Of course. I wouldn't have left the infirmary otherwise.
I've been expecting those two, but might I inquire as to the purpose of your visit, Miss Sejoin?
I wanted to check up on Miss Claran.
Mostly fine.
If you don't mind, I'd like to perform another quick physical exam.
All right. Thank you for looking out for me.
Well, want to explain yourself, Risley?
Of course, but I'm not partial to the word choice of explain. How about enlighten?
Please, enlighten us as much as you'd like.
Where should I begin? How about you start by asking me any questions you have? You can start with whichever one you'd like to get answered the most.
And Paimon will begin. Did you know about Lenny's goals from the very beginning?
No. I just knew they were Fatui operatives sent to the fortress by the Knave. As for their specific goals, I only figured those out as you made progress on your investigation.
You managed to monitor and stay ahead of them even though you didn't know what they were trying to do?
They came here with ulterior motives. I'm quite adept at discerning what that kind of behavior signals. Initially, I thought their goal was just to investigate Child's disappearance. Linny suggested that I had deliberately let him escape. But in truth, I didn't really do anything special to help or hinder him while he was here. Everything he did, from finding helpers to leaving this place, he did on his own. Of course, it's inevitable that the Knave would make a big deal out of her fellow Harbinger's unexplained disappearance. I'm also quite curious about where that Harbinger went. So I figured I might as well let the Fatui do their own investigative work. All I care about is the answer.
So you were hoping Lenny's group would just do your work for you?
You make it sound like that's a bad thing. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. I assume that Fremonet has told you already, the ratio of primordial seawater around the fortress of Meripede is on the rise. The Forbidden Zone has always been Linny's target, and you got roped into that investigation after running into him. I began to intervene out of concern for your safety, and also to prevent the fortress from becoming entangled in more irksome matters.
Are the rumors true?
Why would you put it like that? Isn't staying here all day and serving as the manager of the fortress a kind of sentence unto itself? Another form of prison? I just happen to have some support from the rest of the inmates. That's all.
Oh, right. Paimon wanted to ask.
Me, of course. I paid her good mora to come down to the fortress for some field work. As a champion duelist, Miss Claran could be considered to be an independent party. I needed to find an exceptionally capable person to help me get through the impending crisis.
And saving Fremonet with...
You can think of it like that, yes. Credit where credit is due, that boy is quite adept at diving. Had conditions not been as hostile as they were, he probably would have found the missing Harbinger already. That's not something you should be asking after. Neuvillette only asked you to investigate Child's whereabouts. All I need to prove to you is that the Forbidden Zone had nothing to do with the Harbinger's disappearance. That should be clear now that you've spoken to Fremonet.
But we've already uncovered that there's something wrong with the infirmary, and we've answered a bunch of questions that you threw at us.
You make a compelling case.
Yeah, Paimon...
Even if the truth may not be pleasant, follow me.
I'm very interested with how this is gonna go. Wait. Oh, I'm dumb. I have to go down. Of course. It's a spiral staircase room. Of course, it's gonna have more to it than just the one.
Door here? And a whole basement behind it? Huh. You're pretty good at hiding stuff, Risley.
It seems you've forgotten just what kind of place the Fortress of Meripede is.
No, I haven't. This makes about as much sense to me as everything else has. Which is to say, enough.
Stand on the...
Wait, is there a secret mechanism or... Whoa!
We've been in floating castles. Quit being surprised at this shit. Like, seriously, the Jade Chamber exists, and we helped build it in 2 days.
Honestly, for a place so well hidden, Paimon sure doesn't see anything special.
The Gnosis.
What a huge door!
And the Gnosis
There
is
are
behind
3
it.
such isolation gates in total. Generally speaking, I'm the only one who's allowed to go inside. Hence the name forbidden zone. Am I correct to assume you're going to run on back and tell your little Fatui friends everything?
Well,
Well, I'd advise you wait until you've seen the whole truth of this place for yourself before deciding whether or not to tell them.
There are some things that I am 100% willing to keep from them. Oh, I don't have any artifacts on. I don't have anything on. I don't know if I'll end up fighting, but I can certainly put some things on to the character, just in case. Do I have any good hydro damage pieces? I don't think I do. I'll just grab any random one that's not getting used by much. I'm just gonna grab this one. This one's pretty good. I'm just grabbing general pieces. This one's good. I'll keep that one. And then I obviously want crit rate, so I'll just go ahead and grab... I'll grab this one. 78 or 160. That's good enough for me.
so there's a switch on the side.
Stand back.
Whoa, they all just went up one by one.
Go on.
Have a look. What's that inside? Have a look. Just go. You have eyeballs. It's probably going to be the Gnosis, if I were to guess. And with nothing in here, which is quite strange on its own. There's also a small device smack dab in the middle of the room, which looks like some kind of massive
I've been
sluice
interested
gate.
in what lies beyond that gate ever since I assumed leadership of the Fortress of Meripede. Of course, it would be unwise to recklessly open it, but it'd also be risky and negligent to simply ignore any potential danger that could be behind it. The readings on that dashboard have not budged since the day when I first laid eyes on this place. But over the past year, the needle has crept upwards from its original position, likely because some parameter it's been tracking has changed, if only infinitesimally. Normally I would have ignored it, but I happened to have some free time when I noticed it, so I investigated. Any guesses what the reading could be tracking?
Primordial seawater, but I'm going to just choose water
Very
pressure.
reasonable guesses. I've considered both of those as well. Unfortunately, our dashboard is tracking something less ordinary. The temperature should vary with weather and climate changes, so for something that rarely shifts, the water pressure is more likely. We ran a few tests to increase the pressure from the outside, but the readings didn't change at all. Later on, a few more possibilities occurred to me, such as a potential connection with the primordial sea. I began to make a few preparations based on that hypothesis. Over the past few days, the needle has moved again. With that, and the symptoms that Fremine displayed after leaving the fortress, I can now confidently conclude that the readings represent the concentration of primordial seawater in the seawater nearby.
The concentration of primordial seawater?
And that is precisely the problem. We're at the bottom of the sea, and now we're surrounded by toxic seawater. Somehow, primordial seawater got mixed in, and the concentration is steadily rising. Yes, that's very likely.
But forget about the two of us. Not even Novelette knows where the primordial sea could be, much less where we could find and plug a leak. Oh.
Seems like you've figured it out. I believe the primordial sea lies directly beneath this sluice gate. For some reason, the primordial seawater levels have risen significantly, and it's now very close to us. The indicators are now red. Although the gate still stands, some primordial seawater has already leaked out and mixed into the sea around us. If this continues, soon it will no longer be able to hold back the primordial sea at all.
And if the primordial sea is leaking through, if this gate falls, all of Fontaine will fall with it. Yep, that is correct.
Yeah, you know what the legends say. If this place falls, then everyone in Fontaine will be turned into puddles in the span of a night.
But that's just too weird. Why would the Fortress of Meripede be built right above a sluice gate for the primordial sea?
Your expression tells me you think this might be part of a vast, complicated conspiracy. To be honest, you might find the actual answer may be exceedingly boring.